Thank you for tuning in, guys. It's your boy, the Credit Dude, here at Got Credit. And today I want to talk to you guys about something that can make or break your financial future, and that's your credit. So I want to make sure that you're not making any of these mistakes, and I want you to avoid them at all costs. Let's go ahead and dive right into the first one: missing payments and avoiding due dates. I think this is one of the ones that a lot of people like to get wrong, and sometimes it's not on purpose. But here's a little trick that you can do in order to avoid yourself from actually being late all the time, is putting all of your accounts on Autopay. So did you know that if you put your accounts on Autopay, that'll avoid a late payment? It might sound very complicated, but it's actually very easy. All you really got to do is log into your accounts online, whether it's Capital One, Chase, American Express, Auto Loan, whatever it is, and set your account for the minimum payment on or before the due date. Now, I usually tell people that you can pay a little bit more down the road, but get into the habit first of just making your minimum payment and making on-time payments. You'd be surprised. We have a lot of clients that unfortunately have late payments for $25, $50, and I can tell you that avoiding this mistake could cost your credit score a lot of headaches and a lot of pain, and also that credit score drop that you're going to see when you miss that payment. Second is not checking your credit report for errors. So if you don't have a credit monitoring app, or if you don't have something that checks all three of your credit scores and reports, go ahead and go to gotcreditmonitoring.com, because you'll be able to check all your credit reports for $1. And if you can't monitor your credit, or if you're not monitoring your credit, how do you know what needs to be fixed or improved? So making sure that you do actually monitor your credit every single month with all three credit bureaus, it'll allow you to see what needs to be fixed, adjusted, or even changed. And listen, we have a lot of clients too that they say, hey man, I'm paying off my debt every single month on time. How come my credit cards are maxed out? It's probably because you're paying it on the due date and not before the statement date is generated. And that's one of the key things that looking at your credit report every month, because it'll allow you to maintain zero balances across the board. All right. Number three, this is my favorite one, not because I like maxed out credit cards, but because a lot of people have a misconception about it is, oh, well, I make my payments on time. I don't have any collections. I don't have any charge-offs. I don't really have a lot of inquiries, but why is my credit score so low? And it's because of the balances on your cards. So you could have a $500 credit card and be completely maxed out, and that'll drop your credit score. You could also have a $10,000 credit card and have a $1,000 balance and it not do what the $500 balance would do, because it all depends on the limits you have. So that's why chasing a high credit score will allow you to get high limit credit cards, which would therefore allow you to be able to have a little bit more balances on those credit cards and it not hurt you as much. Okay, so just make sure that you understand, if you have a $1,000 limit, you can use $5,000 a month on that card. And the way you do this is using it, paying it off in 2 days, using it, paying it off in 2 days. And as long as you pay the balance off before the statement date is generated, a zero balance will always be reported to your credit report, therefore ensuring that you have and maintain a high credit score. So the fourth one is closing old accounts too soon. I really don't understand why people actually close any credit cards for that matter. I mean, even if it comes with an annual fee, like an American Express or other type credit cards, you have to maximize the rewards for those cards. So a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to get an American Express as a $700 annual fee, but the rewards that you get are a lot more than the $700 you pay. And if you were to close that card, you're gonna pay more than $700 down the road, because now you have less available credit, which is gonna drop your credit score. So make sure that you leave accounts open as much as possible. And just know this, guys, that if you do end up paying off a mortgage, an auto loan, or a personal loan, or even a student loan, your credit score is going to drop, because it still falls into this bucket where you're closing an account, which reduces the average age of open accounts. So even though there's no credit limit attached to installment loans, it can still drop your credit score when you do pay these accounts off. One thing you can do to overcome this is that if you know you're going to pay off an auto loan, a personal loan, or a mortgage within the next 30 to 60 days, before you actually close it, go ahead and call one of your credit card companies and see if you can get a credit limit increase on one or two of those credit cards, because that'll offset the drop. So you're going to close an account, but you're going to be adding available credit, which can do the trick with adding some points to your credit score or not even seeing a drop at all. The fifth one is not diversifying your credit mix. This one is actually 10% of your credit score, which is 55 points. So it actually can be the difference of you being in the high sixes and the low sevens. So with this one, all you really want to do is these three things: have a mortgage, have an auto loan, and have a credit card. If you have all three of these, you will gain all 55 points in this category. Now, here's the thing though. If you have 2 auto loans, it doesn't count for more, you're not going to get more points. And if you have 2 or 3 credit cards, no auto loan, and no mortgage, it doesn't count as well. So once you check the box with one of the categories, that's really all you need. So make sure, don't just get a mortgage to get a mortgage if you're not going to be able to pay it, but make sure that you know that if you do have a good credit mix, it does show lenders that you are responsible with multiple types of credit. So make sure you save that, because it's very important to know once you get a mortgage, an auto loan, or a credit card. Number 6 is assuming that the only things that matter is your credit score. A lot of people say like, oh, wait a minute, I have a 750 credit score, I should get approved. Well, it's not that simple, because you might have a charge off on your credit report. You might have a repossession. You might have a recent late payment in the last 12 months. And lenders want to see your entire picture. And that's why a credit report is so important. And that's why we recommend gotcreditmonitoring.com, because it'll allow you to check your MyScore IQ, your MyScore IQ account, or your Identity IQ account. So that way it'll monitor all 3 credit reports. And the MyScore IQ does give you the FICO scores, which we like to see, because that is exactly what lenders are looking at. So if you know what's on your credit report, if you know how your credit score is going up and down, and if you know what lenders are looking at, honestly, how can you fail when it comes to your credit? Now, remember, they also look at debt to income ratio. So you might have a 750 credit score, but if you make X amount of dollars a year and you're paying out X amount of dollars per month, and what's on your credit report is like double, then it's a little bit of a risk, because they're like, wait a minute, how can you afford your monthly payments if the income you have coming in doesn't meet the criteria for their qualifying guidelines? All right, so just keep that in mind. And then number 7, which is also a very, very good one, is using your credit beyond your means. Now, this typically will pertain to auto loans or credit cards, okay? Because when you get your mortgage, you're typically approved based on your income. And obviously, paying your mortgage is one of the most important things, because you not only do you not want to be late on your mortgage, but you want to make sure you do everything to not have a foreclosure or short sale, or even be evicted from your home. So this would honestly be with personal loans, auto loans, and credit cards. We see a lot of people where they apply for several personal loans, because sometimes they don't ask you for income, just stated income. You get too many auto loans that you can't afford. And then your credit cards, you max them out because you're living paycheck to paycheck. That's a recipe for disaster, because when you realize it, wait a minute, I have 2 or 3 personal loans. I have an auto loan that I can't really afford. And then I have all these low limit credit cards that are maxed out, and I'm making the minimum payment, and the balance isn't going anywhere. Next thing you know, you're just like, you know what? Just screw everything. I'm not going to pay anything. And we've seen that happen. And unfortunately, it happens to the best of us. So I can tell you that if you avoid these 7 mistakes, and if you avoid making even 3 or 4 or 5, if you can't avoid all of them, listen, guys, just avoid some of them, because it'll put your credit score in a position to always get approved and never denied. And that's what you really want. You really want to use your credit to your advantage. Avoid these mistakes, because now you can teach it to the next generation. You can teach it to your kids, to your nieces, to your nephews, to your grandkids. And that's ultimately where the true power comes in. So make sure that if you are making these mistakes, that you write them down and you put a plan in place to get them, not only fixed and corrected, but you want to make better habits. All right, guys. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. I would love to not only help you and educate you, but I would love to get an answer to your immediate questions right away. Make sure you do like and subscribe to this video, because as I do drop new content and new information, I want to make sure that you are on top of everything and you know exactly when I'm coming out with the next video. If you are looking for help with your credit, go ahead and visit www.gotcredit.com, and we will love to help you out with not only fixing your credit, but also building your credit. See you guys in the next one. Peace.